Hello, hello. I am Anjalon Wimbush, and I am the host of PS10 Radio. Welcome. We have here Ciara Lewis, and let me give you a little background about Ciara Lewis. She is a powerhouse and entrepreneur, visionary leader, and unstoppable force behind Fierce and Fearless, a bold movement magazine and podcast dedicated to elevating women entrepreneurs. As a domestic abuse survivor turned trailblazer, Ciara has transformed personal adversity into a mission driven empire rooted in empowerment, resilience, and legacy. With deep expertise in medical billing and credentialing, Ciara has helped healthcare providers rebuild and thrive. But her impact doesn't stop there. Driven by passion to uplift other women, she launched Fierce and Fearless magazine to give voice to female entrepreneurs and shift the narrative from competition to collaboration, which is what we're doing today. Her is clear. We rise higher when we rise together. Ciara's journey includes completing 4 books with her debut solo work, The Anchor Holds, releasing May 20th, and launching her podcast, Fierce and Fearless Women Entrepreneurs, in June. She is also expanding her brand with merchandise, virtual events, and an upcoming anthology series, Fierce and Fearless, The Power Behind Her. Her advice to women business is unapologetically bold. Trust your gut, embrace your failures. Be fearless in your growth and stop playing small. I know that's right. Ciara Lewis isn't just building a brand, she's igniting a global sisterhood of fierce women ready to change the world. Welcome, Ciara.
Thank you.
Wow, that was beautiful. It's funny because in past interviews that I've interviewed people, I just kind of like say like, well, how do you want me to introduce you, or what do you want to say, or introduce yourself? And I just do like 1 or 2 liners, but you broke it down. You broke it on down like, well, I did this, and that, and I think that goes along with your desire to um your message of just wanting women to be bold and stand in their power of who they are.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit, like, how did you get to this point?
Um, Being broken. So just, I think challenges in general is what really makes us rise back up from the ashes, which is the theme behind the co-anthology that we have going, which is Fierce, Fearless Phoenix Rises from the Ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did. I'm a victim of domestic violence and sexual abuse.
Okay.
I have also been manipulated and judged all kinds of things in male dominated industries. And so between all of that and just, other challenges that we face being women and growing just made me think we need something bigger. We need something better, something to reconnect us and to help us to revive ourselves and remember exactly who we are. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to. I'm also an author, and so with that being said, I love storytelling. But
Okay.
most of all, I love hearing other people's stories. I love having the opportunity to showcase other people's stories. And so I thought the best way to do that would be to create the magazine,
Mm-hmm.
to create a platform for women to have a safe place to come and not only um, showcase their skills and their services and products, but to tell who they truly are and show the world, what they're capable of and their skill set and just be able to tell their story. And so that is what we do here at Fierce and Fearless, and help women elevate in that space as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what kind of drew me to your website. I don't know where I saw your, oh, I think we were in a Facebook group together.
Uh-huh.
And you know how like go in the Facebook group and they're like, everybody support one another, go to each other's pages. And I just randomly just picked you. I was like, oh, let me go here and like it or whatever. But then I was reading through some things. I was like, okay, all right. So I did feel like I could see like where you were coming from, like you said, like a survivor, and like, we're about to be fierce and fearless over here and get some things done. And that's really what drew me to you. Is there, prior to this, did you try anything else or try to enter any other spaces? And it just was like, you were just like, I just need to create my own.
I have been a part of other groups, and I still am a part of, a few other groups. But
Hmm.
and I'm not saying this to be judgmental. I'm just
Yeah,
speaking the truth of what I feel like I'm still seeing across the board. Um, I feel like there's still a lot of this negativity, competition, like we're in a race,
right.
in a lot of these spaces. And that is something that I want to break the barrier for. I want to stop all that negative competition and help people to understand that we work better together. And if
Right.
we, guide the next person beside us or behind us, we can get places a lot faster that way. And if we can just remember that, we didn't get to where we are 110% by ourselves. Somewhere, some way along the way, there was someone, whether it was a teacher, um, a church member or something, helped us to get where we are. We didn't just get up and say, "Oh, this is me and this is what I'm doing and I can do that." We've had to have a mentor somewhere, a
Yeah.
leadership, even if it was a book you picked up.
Hmm.
And the way I see it is, especially as women, and I think this is where the challenge gets really tough right here because, we're supposed to be nurturing, loving, compassionate, empathetic. And I feel like for us to have those qualities, we don't really utilize them to the best of our ability. We don't
Hmm.
utilize them with each other. We're very good at doing it with, our children or our husbands or anything outside of that. But when it comes to networking and truly being there for each other, it's kind of like we're lacking that. And that is what I want to see us kind of bring back in is, the compassion and caring about, helping that next person or guiding that next person, not leaving somebody behind. And I feel like as mothers, and like I said, as people who are supposed to be nurturing,
Hmm.
that's kind of our job. That's what we were
Yeah.
put here to do.
Hmm. Yeah, I do agree with you. There is this cloud of comparison that and competition that just lingers over us. And especially as women who are minorities or women of color or just Black women, period. I just feel like it's just a lot of that where it's like a crab crawl and a lot of gatekeeping
Yes.
and a lot of blocking. So, actually, I just went to a networking event this morning with a colleague of mine who we kind of feel the same way. Like let's stop all this competition, let's raise each other up, collab, and everything like that. And so we went to a networking event, and it was so refreshing to hear the people who were in the room, men and women, saying, let's stop all this
Yes.
competition. Like I live in Michigan, and it's like, we are the minority here. So it's like, let's start working together so that we can create generational wealth and we can build a library of knowledge. And
Yes.
just, so I love that you are on a mission to create this magazine that allows for people to share their voices and share their ideas and everything like that. And the beauty of it is it's virtual, so it's like everyone has access to it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, you'll be able to grow and just do more things, to collaborate with other people and give voices to people who just don't have the voices. Because you have a lot in your bio that you said that you're doing. So I guess, what is your focal point?
So I'll tell you something new that we are doing. We are actually getting ready to start collaborating with men as well. And I'm really
Oh,
excited
okay.
about this project because although the intent was when I first started, to kind of zone more in on women because we do lack the attention that we should receive. We lack the respect. However, the world was not designed to run off of one gender,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we were designed to work together. And so I'm really excited about this collaboration because if I have to be truthful, I've had several men approach me about this magazine. I've had several men be excited about
Oh,
this movement, and they wanted to be a part of it. And that just lit a whole new fire under my feet because it let me know that either I'm doing something right to where
mm-hmm.
it's not just saying, hey, women,
Yes, crossing
um,
over.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that let me know that, hey, there's more power here than what I originally intended for it to be. And that's what I want. I want us to all reunite. I want us to all come together again. And I really think that's what our goal is as humanity, is,
Mm-hmm.
we are supposed to come together. And so I think this is going to be a beautiful collaboration. Um, the men that we've got lined up so far, obviously they're pretty excited, was definitely on board to do it. So
Oh, good.
I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to see it happen. That's just one project that we have in collaboration. Um, like I said, the co-anthology we also have, it's coming out December the 13th.
Okay.
We've got right at about 12 to 14 authors in there.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
That's beautiful because that means it's 12 to 13 people that you are actually collaborating with. And that is the drive behind your business is collaborate, working together and going higher. So what about, like you were talking about some of the events? What does your events look like? What is that?
So we actually are having our first big virtual event at the end of the year. I don't really actually have the name for it just yet, but
Okay.
we're doing our sponsorship giveaway, which has taken off beyond the word very quickly. And so we probably have at least about 20 sponsors, if not more, so far. And what that looks like is a sponsor would sponsor an item or a service, and in
Hmm.
exchange, they would get free advertisement from Fierce and Fearless magazine, which
Okay.
would include a feature in the November and the December issue,
Hmm.
mentioned on our social media and our website, and then, of course, mentioned in our end of year press release and our end of year event.
Okay.
So that has taken off. It's actually done very well. I'm really impressed with the results that we've gotten back in, especially for this to be our first time event.
Yeah.
But within that event, we are going to have a special guest author, not author, I'm sorry, speaker. Um,
Okay.
we will have an ugly sweater contest, a, a business bingo.
Okay.
We're going to have door prizes, and then of course we're also going to do the announcements for the giveaway. Um, we actually have, like I said, more participants than I had anticipated. So I think we're going to be going about this a different way than I had originally planned.
Okay.
So we will probably end up having like maybe a 12 days of Christmas, and then, like I said, a couple of door prizes, and then,
Mhm.
prizes for bingo on this sweater contest. But yeah, it's going to be a huge event.
Yeah, I love that because usually you hear virtual events and you're thinking, oh, I gotta listen to somebody talk and it's gonna be speaker after speaker after speaker. I just get to sit down the whole time and everything. But you actually sound like you're gonna have some engagement and some activities and fun. And that's like what I like to do. I like to no, I don't want to sit either. Like let's get up and do something or, have really deep, engaging conversations. So I love that you have that in mind and you're already preparing for that. Like, let's do something. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate, like just the fact that we even have to think this way, that we have to push against what's already been going on, but it's good because it's an opportunity that we may not
Mhm.
have had in the past, especially virtually, because you're in Kentucky and it's like like yeah, I could go to Kentucky, you
Uh-huh.
could come to Michigan, but this is like being able to collab like this and just connect is a beautiful thing.
Yes. We are we're going to have like a small networking session as well. We do plan on having a live event sometime next year. We are in
Okay.
collaboration with one or two other women as far as how that's going to look. We
Yeah.
will also continue to have other virtual events.
Mm-hmm.
We're all the time looking for collaborations, sponsors as well. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is definitely going to be, a pretty big event, and I'm pretty excited about it. So
Yeah, and it's all about opportunities, right? And creating our own opportunities. Because a lot of times I know, like I was talking before about like how we met or came across one another. I still feel like sometimes those platforms they say women, but they don't mean everyone. And so it's kind of like, you like I'm in there, but I'm not sure. So it's nice to see that.
yes, but it
Um,
feels like a clique. That's what I'm saying. I feel
yeah.
like there's cliques being created instead of like actual women support groups or women
Hmm.
empowerment groups. And I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if people are realizing that this is what's happening or that they're still leaving certain people out, but it's definitely very noticeable. Or at least to someone like me, it's very noticeable when I go, and it's kind of a turnoff at times, because it's like, well, I thought we were all supposed to be supported or we were all supposed to feel welcomed. But
Right.
it's kind of like you're saying, you're in there and you don't feel a part of the team.
Hmm.
And I want to have an event to where people don't have to feel awkward when they come, especially if it's an in-person event. Because for someone like me, I don't really like a lot of people. I'm shy. I don't like the spotlight.
Hmm.
So if I have to go somewhere like that, it's nice to feel welcomed,
Yeah.
or you don't have to feel awkward. And
Hmm.
so that's the type of environment that I want to create, is to where when someone comes into the event or comes even into the space, they don't
Hmm.
feel alone, they don't feel left out.
Yeah.
They feel appreciated and welcome just like anybody else that's there.
Hmm. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I feel like sometimes it's like this hole into the abyss because it's they'll be like, drop your business or drop the name of your, and you might get, some, and it's like, yeah, that's nice, but I haven't really gotten anything out of it. And I've been doing it for like a year or so now. And where's the community? And then once you do get into the community, it's all these steps and barriers you have to get through in order to even like, can I say something?
Yes,
And
yes.
like,
Or,
like,
they're creating these events that are like high ticket priced items.
yeah.
And it's like you get in there, but then you still got to pay for this and you got to pay for this. And,
Hmm.
and it's like, no, like, what are we doing? That's,
Yeah, it's
that's
like
not helping
nickel or
anybody.
dime.
Yeah.
It
And
doesn't it
so,
doesn't feel collaborative. So I like
no,
that you're creating a space that you desire to belong, and the blessing about it is you're attracting people who also feel the same way. So yes, and I love that because I feel like I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm creating a space where I feel like I would enjoy being in, and that where I could thrive and belong and feel a good sense of community. And I feel like you're doing the same thing, so that's great.
like we should get to a point to where, and this is what I want to build. This is what I want to see when I have an event, as like you just said. If we are doing like a network session or a drop your business or a follow this or follow that, it should be literally by the time you walk out of that room, everybody has followed one another. It shouldn't
Yeah,
just be that this little section over here followed two
right.
or three people, or that,
Hmm.
like, if we are truly doing what we're saying we want to do and what we're out to do, and that's
Yeah.
our mission, that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't
Hmm.
nitpicking on who we're going to follow or who we're going to support or who.
Right.
And just because we follow someone doesn't mean that we have to like
Wow.
dive deep in with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, a
Mhm.
follow is not the same as you literally having to tie a knot with somebody,
Right.
but it's still a form of support. And I think if we can just get past that point of like what we consider support,
Hmm.
we could do a lot better. We would
Yeah.
do a lot bigger things than what we're doing. But people get so stuck on, well, I don't want to follow her, or well, I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Hmm.
Even if it's something that doesn't match you, it doesn't mean you don't have to support your sister, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And that's just what I want people to get past at some point. I mean, I know not something we can change tomorrow, but it would
Mhm.
be fantastic to start seeing that, like a true sister
Yeah.
support.
Well, I mean, the caveat for me is like I am 100% on the board with supporting, and then like you said, is to follow someone that should not be a problem. Now whether you patronize or you want to collab, yeah, you want to align with people who maybe are more
Right. And you're, yes,
attuned to what you're interested in. That's different. And that's where people have to come to terms with, like, I can still support this person, but I'm going to actually engage with these people because these people are the, the demographic or have the niche or have the genre or whatever that that I'm interested in, that I
yeah,
like. Because I do get it, because I do believe in having your boundaries, and making sure that your feed is all positive and stuff, and you don't want to have a lot of things on there that are like not aligning with you. But that's when you, like you said, is support, and then there's following, and then there's engagement. So you can
yes,
engage with the people that do align with you, and that you can see
yes.
yourself.
Well, I mean, let's think of it this way. And I said this to somebody the other day, and they was like, "Oh, I never really thought of it that way." And that's the problem. We're not always thinking of it in the out of the box way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're always just stuck right here. Um,
Hmm.
we follow everything else. We follow the celebrities. We follow, what are they doing for you? It's not like they're going to sit down and come to your house and be like, hey, let's start up a TV show together, or let's, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like that, the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. I'm not saying that it's not a possibility, but when you actually have, well, I'm not saying celebrities aren't real, but I'm saying
Right.
when you actually have a community of people that are more than likely going to reach
Touchable.
your hand, yes,
Right.
and collaborate with you on, why would you not utilize that instead of, and I'm not saying don't follow celebrities.
Yeah.
I'm saying if we're so quick to not follow somebody that could benefit us, but we're so quick to follow somebody who more than likely is not going to be able to do anything for us except for show us what they can do.
Right.
At the
Yeah.
end of the day, where's that getting you at? You know?
Yeah.
Um,
And you can
and
learn
so,
from other people, and that's the purpose of even being on here, is we're trying to learn different
mhm,
things, not compare, not compete, not, so we
yeah,
can criticize, but to learn. And so, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah. And that's what I think we need to do. And I think that, because people get stuck on this numbers thing. Oh,
Hmm.
how many followers do you have? How many followers did you get? And at the end of the day, the question really ought to be how many are legit followers?
Right.
How many of those followers are benefiting you? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like that is really where we should be at. It should not matter about what the number looks like because at the end of the day, half of that number is probably not doing anything for you or your
Right.
business.
Right. Yeah.
So, like I said, I think there's a lot of growth that we have to go through, a lot of learning that we have to do, which that's life.
Hmm.
And I feel like once we get past a lot of these steps, again, we could create something that has never ever been created in history.
Yeah.
But it's just going to take being outside of the box. And so many people are just scared to step out of that box. And
Yeah, they are.
yeah.
They are. And I think that's why, even for myself, because I'm similar to you, is like I'm an introvert. I like to be more one-on-one, small group kind of thing. So it's been a challenge for me to talk in front of big crowds, but I've done it. So I'm just like, and I'm proud of myself, pat on the back, but I am just like, it's not really my number one thing. But I do wonder, like, if you were to tell your younger self something about collaboration, like, or just, not comparing, like, what age would you have started? Like, when did you notice that you may have been falling into that trap? Because I think we've kind of always all have been groomed or grown up to some extent of like, oh, she doing this better than you, or that person's better than da, 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 da. Was it like, were you very young? Were you a teenager? Were you a young lady? Like, what actually, when were
I'm
you?
going to say that I noticed the switch going into high school. So probably toward the middle, well, maybe more toward like the end of middle school
Oh,
is when I started to notice, okay, hey, like everybody's not clicking anymore. Things are changing. People aren't looking at things the same. People are setting up groups now or cliques.
okay.
And I think that's what done it for me. And that's when I said, I want to be different than this. I don't want to follow that path. I want
Mhm.
more than that.
Yeah.
And so, going through school, I was friends with everybody. I didn't
Okay.
care who it was. I didn't care, and I didn't care what other people thought of this group or that group,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, there was a benefit for me for each friend.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah. Different purpose. Yeah.
Mhm. But like I said, it was like once we hit high school, you could kind of see that mind shift change with people. And
Hmm.
that's what me and my mom was talking about the other day is, especially with the generational thing here, but like back in our day, at least between elementary and like I said, middle school, it was like nobody really seen anything. Everything was the same. Everybody
Yeah.
was the same. But it seemed like once we kind of got toward the end of middle school, that's when either people started seeing color or they started seeing, um, I don't know, different characteristics or varieties that they didn't want to mix with, things like that. And so that's when we started getting the cliques, these
Yeah.
cliques
Okay.
that we didn't have in earlier on, elementary and middle school. And
Hmm.
so that's when I noticed it for me, and that's when I realized I wanted to make a change because I didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't agree with it.
Hmm.
And so that was it.
I do agree with you. Once I got into college, and I have always been groomed to be in one particular um, sorority because
Mhm.
I was in their youth group. So
Yeah.
I graduated from college. Fast forward, I started to feel that inkling of I want to belong to something. I want to be in a club. You no longer, especially when you're working and stuff. It's like you could have like a clique or whatever, but in my job, I was very what do we call it? I was called like an itinerant. So I could go, I had several building assignments. So I didn't have like one place to land where I could see, oh, this is my friend, every day or whatever. So I was kind of moving around a lot. So I decided to create my own social organization. And so that's what I did. So I totally get what you're doing because I think it's a beautiful thing. It follows along with what my mindset is. Like if I can't find what I'm looking for, I'm going to create what I'm looking for. So I love that. What would you say to someone who has the same kind of experience? Like how would they get started, or what would you suggest? Just get started to pursue their dreams because you have so many things like the
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
author, the magazine, the events, everything like that. Where would you suggest?
I think the very first important thing is to definitely nail down exactly what it is that you want to do. What is your actual vision? Because I think, like you said, it's so easy for our heads to go in 15 different directions and want to do 100 different things, but we aren't 1,000% certain exactly what it is that we want to do with that particular category.
Hmm.
And the next thing I would suggest would be to, create a pros and cons list. Okay, if I do this, what can I benefit from it? What can I gain from it? What's going to be the cons?
Okay.
Um, and then action. Put your plan in action. Put a plan on paper, and then decide how you're going to start putting that in action, even if it's small steps at a time.
Hmm.
I was telling somebody the other day, for me, I started incorporating myself, or I started incorporating going to either events that pertain to what I was interested in, or I started maybe reading or getting in groups that was categories that I was interested in. And
Yeah.
then I started networking. So I actually
Okay.
started connecting with people in the same mind, like-minded areas where I was at.
Mhm.
And so those would be the suggestions that I would say build up to before you just rush into doing something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, get a feel for it.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm all about like figure out what you want to do first before you
Mhm.
just because you just going off the cuff, it can take you in all zillion different directions and it's a race to nowhere. So
Yes. And
yeah.
I like to tell people too, just remember, like, you don't have to do the same thing of what these people are doing. Like it's okay to be creative. It's okay to be out of the box. Actually, I think it's better to be out of the box because, then you literally have your own thing. Um,
Right.
and so, I think sometimes people get stuck on trying to figure out what this person's doing and okay, how exactly do I do, you know, be
Hmm.
creative a little bit and think of how can you do it differently.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's okay to do that. And I'm not saying it's not okay to you know, not mimic, but again, kind of like a mentor, kind of watch how someone's doing something or
Yeah,
that sort of
replicate
thing.
or
Yes.
yeah, put a spin on somebody else's thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they say there are no new ideas, so you
And
know,
that's true.
yeah, we are kind of like just tweaking something we saw or
Bring
putting
it along.
bits and
Yeah.
pieces together and making it our own. So yeah.
Yep.
So okay, so my final question to you is, do you have a couple tips for um, just taking care of yourself and practicing self-care as a entrepreneur?
Yes. I definitely believe in making the space and the time to not only breathe, but to incorporate, you know, any form of activity that you enjoy, whether it's writing or walking, playing games, whatever,
Yeah,
family time, because that is going to be what really prevents you from getting burnout. I can say I was definitely very guilty of not doing that when I first started my very first business. I'm a workaholic, but I did have to learn very quickly that the longer you spend doing that project, that business, the
yeah,
quicker you're going to get burnout and not want to have anything to do with it. Then when you're just taking that extra time and taking in that breath, enjoying reality, being appreciative of life, enjoying your family,
yeah,
it'll prevent you from, getting burned out so quickly.
yes,
So yeah,
yeah.
you definitely got to take that time.
Yeah, thank you for that because I think that is absolutely true, and I'm even learning that right now. Just working on my own business and just trying to have that balance between I love what I'm doing versus I have to do this, and so it's no longer enjoyable to me. So
Hmm.
I totally get it. I think a lot of younger generation, that's why they hesitate to use their talents as work because they don't want it to be something that, yeah, like I'm sick of doing this because, but I'm good at drawing or art or whatever, but I'm sick
Hmm.
of doing it because now it's my job.
Yep.
So yeah, you want to enjoy what you're doing. So you have to have that balance and figure out and be in tune and tap in of like, okay, I need to rest now.
Yes.
Hmm,
Yep.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good for one to take a nap with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll
Nap,
definitely take a
I
nap.
come back to it later.
Yes, definitely about a nap. Yes.
Yes. So, okay. So I really enjoyed our conversation today, Sierra. And I thank you for just having the opportunity for us to collab and for us to be able to share our stories in your co-anthology and also yeah, and I'm sending a workbook journal your way on self-love and just being able to bless someone with that gift. And I think it's wonderful that you have provided the space and avenue for us to be able to do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm like I said, I'm really excited to see where this sponsorship giveaway goes. I can't wait to see how many people it reaches and how many people it helps. And I definitely plan on continuing this each year. So
Great. And so how can people learn more or how can they sign up for your end of the year celebration that you were talking about?
they can go to fierceandfearlessentrepreneur.com or they can email fiercefearlessentrepreneur2025@gmail.com.
Okay, and I'll make sure I put that in the show notes. And okay, is there anything else you want to tell my audience before we wrap up?
I do want to say one thing. And this is a project that is going to be in the works.
Okay.
Um, I'm naming it. I can see you. Can you see me?
Mm,
And the whole goal behind this is it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. for those of us who have felt invisible at some point, we know how that feels.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of people would never want to feel invisible. And a lot of people may not know what that feels like, but I would like to elaborate on what people feel like when they do not feel seen in a space where everybody else is being seen.
Right.
And so, again, this is just another project to help change this dynamic and help people realize, what is really going on in the space that you're creating in these events. Is everybody being seen? Is everybody being treated fairly? Is the event really running how you intended for it to run? Are people really getting out what you intended for them to get out when they show up to the event?
Yeah.
And so, I'm excited about that project. Like I said, it's something that's in the works, and we will definitely announce more about it later. But I just want people to keep that in mind: is I can see you, but can you see me? Because
Yeah.
a lot of times we feel unseen.
I love it. You're solving problems.
The use of marijuana